know that your ability to master the English language might have absolutely nothing to do with heavy grammar books,
Right.
and it might have absolutely everything to do with what you do in the first 10 minutes after you wake up.
Yeah, it sounds a bit surprising when you first hear it. I
Yeah.
mean, we usually associate language learning with, sitting at a desk.
Exactly. Staring at textbooks.
Right, memorizing lists of words, taking tests. We rarely think about our morning cup of coffee as a really powerful language tool.
But that is exactly what we are exploring today. So welcome to the deep dive.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
Our mission today is to look closely at the daily morning routine. We are going to explore how simply describing our daily habits can, completely unlock your English skills.
It really can.
And, because this specific deep dive is designed directly for you, an English learner, we're doing things a little bit differently today.
Yeah, we are purposely taking our time today. We're going to slow down our speaking pace just a bit.
Right, we'll use natural, clear vocabulary in shorter sentences. But we aren't going to sound like robots.
Hopefully not.
Right. We're keeping our normal conversational rhythm. The goal is just to make sure you can absorb every detail comfortably without feeling rushed.
And it really is the perfect approach for this specific topic. I mean, think about how we build a house.
Okay, a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people obsess over the parts of the house that everyone can see, right? They worry about the color of the paint on the walls or the fancy windows.
Or the decorations in the living room.
Exactly. But if the foundation, the concrete at the very bottom is cracked, the entire house is in trouble.
Yeah, it simply doesn't matter how beautiful the paint is if the walls are literally falling down.
Right. The foundation is entirely invisible, but it supports absolutely everything else. And your morning routine functions exactly like that invisible concrete foundation.
Oh, I see.
If your morning is calm, grounded, and organized, the rest of your day usually stands tall. You carry that calm energy right into your afternoon and your evening.
And, well, I think we all know the opposite is true, too.
Oh, for sure.
If you wake up late and just rush out the door, the whole day feels like a chaotic mess.
Totally.
But before we step inside a specific morning routine, I think we need to talk about chronotypes, because there are generally two very different styles of mornings depending on how your body's internal clock actually works.
Yeah, there's the early bird and there's the night owl.
Right.
An early bird is someone who naturally wakes up early and just feels energized right away. They thrive in what we call the golden hour.
The golden hour. I love that term. It sounds like magic.
It feels like magic to them. The golden hour is that really quiet window of time before the rest of the world wakes up.
No demands.
Exactly. No emails, no noise. For an early bird, this hour is deeply peaceful. It's when their mind is the most creative and clear.
But I guess that a good portion of our listeners are on the opposite side, the night owls.
Oh, definitely.
These are the people who stay up late into the night because that is when they feel awake and creative.
Right.
So for them, the morning isn't magical at all. It is a brutal battle against the snooze button.
Yeah, it's a fight just to drag themselves out from under the blankets.
Exactly.
But here is why understanding your morning style is so crucial for your language journey. Whether you jump out of bed at 5 a.m. or you drag yourself out of bed at 9 a.m., you still have a routine.
Right, you do.
You have a sequence of actions you do every single day. And to talk about those repeated actions in English, you must use the present simple tense.
The present simple. Like, I wake up, I drink coffee, I walk to the bus.
Yes. It is the tense of repeated facts. It's the tool we use to share the basic reality of our lives with the world.
Got it.
Every language expert agrees this is the foundation. It's the very first tense any learner needs to master.
I always think of it like a musical band.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you have a band playing a song, you might have a lead singer hitting these crazy high notes or a guitar player doing a wild solo.
Right, the flashy stuff?
Exactly. Those are the complicated grammar tenses, like the future perfect continuous. They are very flashy. But the present simple tense is the rhythm section.
I like that.
It's the drums and the bass guitar. It just provides the steady, repeating beat.
And without that steady heartbeat, the whole song just falls apart. But, learners often ignore the present simple because it feels too basic to them. They want to rush to the complex grammar.
So why is that a mistake? Why is framing our daily habits in this really basic tense the absolute best starting point for a learner?
Because it forces you to map the English language onto your actual lived experience.
Meaning what exactly?
Well, When you use the present simple to describe your own morning,
Mm,
you stop memorizing random textbook scenarios.
right.
You're putting your real life into words. That emotional connection is the mechanism that makes vocabulary stick in your brain permanently.
Wow, okay. So let's see this rhythm section in action. Let's step inside a highly detailed sensory narrative of a morning routine.
Let's do it.
This is a story about a woman's morning, and we're going to unpack the specific vocabulary as we follow her through her house.
Right. So the scene opens at exactly 6:30 a.m. in a dark bedroom. That is when her alarm sounds.
Okay.
But in English, we rarely say the alarm starts. We say the alarm goes off.
Okay, stop right there, because this is one of the most frustrating things for an English learner.
I know.
Go off is a phrasal verb that seems to make zero logical sense.
It really doesn't.
If I turn my television off, the television stops working. If I turn the lights off, the room gets dark.
Right.
So why in the world do we say an alarm goes off when it actually starts making noise?
It is incredibly counterintuitive. But think about the mechanism of the phrase. In English, we use go off to describe a sudden violent change in state.
Okay.
We use it for explosions. Like if a bomb explodes, we say the bomb went off.
Oh.
Right. So an alarm clock breaking the silence of a dark bedroom is basically a tiny explosion of sound.
Ah, an explosion of sound. That creates such a clear mental image.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
It isn't just starting, it is erupting. And native speakers use go off almost 90% of the time, rather than saying the alarm rings or beeps.
Exactly. So the alarm goes off, it actually makes a soft chirping sound, like a bird.
Nice.
But even with a gentle sound, her first physical instinct is to pull the warm blankets over her head and hide.
Which is deeply relatable.
So relatable.
But instead of hiding, she takes a deep breath. She doesn't jump up immediately. She spends 5 full minutes just stretching in bed.
Right.
She reaches her fingertips all the way up to touch the wooden headboard, and she points her toes as far down as she can.
She's intentionally pumping blood through her body,
Yeah.
waking up the muscles slowly.
Yeah.
And when she finally throws the blankets back and steps out of bed, the wooden floor is chilly.
Yeah.
It's just cold enough to make her quickly search for her slippers.
She walks to the bathroom, and this is where she performs a very specific ritual.
Oh, right.
She turns on the sink and splashes ice-cold water directly onto her face. It is a neurological shock to the system. It instantly clears away her brain fog.
Yes, brain fog. That perfectly described how we feel before that cold water.
Totally.
It's that cloudy, heavy sensation in your head.
Yeah.
And she uses the cold water to treat the fact that she is feeling groggy.
Now, groggy is a really interesting word. I hear people say, I am tired all the time. Is groggy just another way to say tired?
Not quite. It is much more specific. Being tired just means your body needs rest.
Right.
Like you can be tired after running a marathon in the middle of the afternoon. But groggy is a neurological state.
Oh.
When you wake up, your brain hasn't fully flushed out the sleep chemicals yet. You are weak, confused, and unsteady.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right. You are so groggy that you might walk right into a door frame or put your car keys in the refrigerator. It's the feeling of walking through thick mud.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. And the cold water washes the mud away.
Exactly.
So by 6:50 a.m., she enters her sanctuary, the kitchen. A sanctuary is a safe, peaceful place, a refuge from the world. She is a massive coffee fan, but she doesn't just push a button on an electric coffee maker and walk away.
No, she doesn't.
She uses a manual grinder to prepare her coffee beans.
We need to look closely at this word, actually. Grind. To grind something means to take two hard surfaces and rub them together to crush whatever is in between them.
Like taking hard coffee beans and crushing them into tiny pieces.
Yes.
But why do this manually? It takes so much effort.
It's about the sensory experience. The physical effort wakes up her body, and she specifically listens for the crunch-crunch sound the grinder makes.
Oh, I see.
It forces her to be present in the moment. And as she grinds the beans, this incredibly rich, earthy aroma is released into the kitchen air.
We should mention that grind is also used figuratively, too.
Oh, definitely.
Like if someone is dealing with intense stress at work, we say they might grind their teeth in their sleep. They're physically rubbing their teeth together because of the tension.
That's a perfect example. And whenever you learn a new action word like grind, it helps to learn the opposite.
Right.
So if grinding makes something crushed and rough, the opposite would be to polish or smooth something out.
So the kitchen is full of this rich coffee aroma. And while the water is heating up, she starts cooking breakfast.
Yes.
She makes a bowl of hot, steaming oatmeal. She tops it with fresh, sweet blueberries, some crunchy walnuts, and a heavy drizzle of golden honey.
Sounds amazing.
It does, and if she has a few extra minutes, she might even fry an egg on a flat iron pan called a griddle.
It sounds incredibly peaceful, almost like a meditation retreat.
Yeah.
But at 7:15 a.m., the peaceful solo time is over. She has to face what she calls the biggest challenge of the morning, waking up her 7-year-old son, Leo.
You know, when I first read about this morning routine, I thought, oh, great, another perfect person with a perfect magical morning.
Right, right.
But then I read about waking up the 7-year-old. This is what grounds the story in reality.
It really does.
Kids do not want to wake up. It is an everyday struggle.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So she has to be strategic. She walks into his bedroom quietly. She pulls back the curtains just enough to let in a soft square of morning light.
Okay.
She sits on the edge of his bed, and she gives his shoulder a gentle nudge.
A nudge. That is a great physical word.
A nudge is a very small, gentle, physical push. Usually you do it with your hand or your elbow.
Right.
It is entirely different from a shove. A shove is aggressive and hard. A nudge is polite and soft.
We use this figuratively all the time, too. Like, if my friend is forgetting to call me back, I might send him a text message just to give him a nudge.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
yelling at him. I'm just gently pushing his memory.
Exactly right. So she nudges his shoulder and she whispers his name. She has to slowly coax him out of his dreams.
Coax him.
Yeah, to coax someone is to gently persuade them to do something they don't really want to do.
Okay, fast forward a bit. Breakfast is eaten, shoes are tied, backpacks are loaded. The routine hits its final stage at 8:00 a.m. sharp.
Notice that word right there. Sharp.
Yeah.
When we attach sharp to a time of day, it communicates strict punctuality.
It means business.
Yes, it does. 8:00 a.m. sharp does not mean 8:01. It certainly does not mean 8:05. It means the exact second the clock hits 0. You use this when you want to show that time is not flexible.
So at 8 a.m. sharp, she stands by the front door and looks at the paper checklist hanging on her refrigerator.
Right.
She asks herself the questions. Does she have his lunchbox? Are her car keys in her pocket? Is his math homework actually in his backpack?
Checklist is a wonderful compound word, by the way. It is literally just the word check and the word list pushed together.
But there is a very specific psychology to a physical checklist, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
People love crossing things out with a pen. Taking a pen and striking a line through a finished task releases a tiny bit of dopamine in the brain.
Yeah, it feels great.
It provides a physical sense of accomplishment that you just don't get from swiping a finger on a digital screen.
For sure. Once the checklist is complete, she opens the front door. They step outside into the crisp morning air.
Okay, I have to stop us again because the word crisp is fascinating here.
It is.
I mostly hear crisp used for food, like a crisp apple or really crunchy potato chip. But here we are using it to describe cold air.
Right.
What is the actual connection? How can the invisible air outside feel like a potato chip?
That is a brilliant question.
Mm.
Think about the physical mechanism of biting into a crisp potato chip. What happens?
It so crunches.
Right, it snaps. It
Yeah.
breaks cleanly in your mouth. It feels fresh and light. When we say the morning air is crisp, we mean it has that same clean snap in your lungs.
Oh, wow.
It is cold enough to wake you up and feel refreshing, but it isn't so cold that it burns your skin. It's a clean break from the warm, sleepy air inside the house.
I love that. And the opposite of crisp air would be stale air.
Yes.
Or stuffy air, like when you have been sitting in a small room with the windows closed for 5 hours, the air feels heavy and old. Crisp air feels entirely brand new.
Exactly. So they breathe in this crisp new air. They walk hand in hand down the sidewalk to the bus stop. They chat about what games he is going to play on the playground. The big yellow school bus arrives with a screech of its brakes. They share a quick, tight hug. He climbs the stairs, waves through the window as the bus drives away, and she turns around to walk back to a very quiet house to begin her workday.
It is such a beautiful, grounded picture of a morning.
It really is.
We have all these rich sensory details. We have the crunching of the coffee grinder, the cold water splashing, the crisp air in the lungs. But you know, as we walk through this entire timeline,
Yeah.
from the moment the alarm goes off to the moment the bus pulls away, there is one major object completely missing from this story.
It is glaringly obvious once you notice it.
A smartphone.
Yep.
A woman in this story never touches a glowing screen.
And that is not an accident.
Yeah.
This brings us to a core philosophy that dictates her morning, the digital detox.
Now, a detox usually means flushing poisons out of your physical body. But this is a detox for your attention.
Precisely. She has a strict rule for the first hour of her day. There is absolutely no checking email.
Wow.
There is no scrolling through social media feeds. And there is no reading the daily news headlines until her son is safely sitting on that yellow school bus.
That is radically different from how the modern world operates.
Very different.
Most people reach for their phone the exact second their alarm goes off. Their head is still on the pillow, they are deeply groggy, and their eyes are already scanning unread text messages and work emails.
And when you look at the psychology of doing that, it is incredibly destructive.
Really?
Yes. Reaching for a screen while you are half asleep causes an immediate spike in cortisol, which is the stress hormone.
Huh?
It creates a state of anxiety. It leads to a condition we call a crowded brain.
A crowded brain. Let me offer an analogy to explain the crowded brain.
Go for it.
Imagine you are sleeping peacefully in your bed. The sun is just coming up. Suddenly, you open your front door and allow 100 shouting strangers to run directly into your bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one person is shouting about politics, another is demanding a work report, someone else is trying to sell you shoes.
That's awful.
You haven't even had a sip of water yet, and all these people are screaming at you.
That is a terrifying image.
Right.
But I mean, that is exactly what you were doing when you opened the internet in bed.
Right.
You are inviting the noise of the entire world into your private sanctuary.
Yeah.
No wonder it makes us anxious. Your brain doesn't have the space to wake up smoothly.
In contrast, the woman in our story gains her sense of calm by forcing her brain to interact only with physical reality.
Yes.
The temperature of the floor, the smell of the coffee, the weight of her son's backpack.
Her actions demonstrate a very clear truth. The consequences of our daily habits shape the structure of our mental health.
That makes total sense.
If your first habit of the day is inviting chaos and stress, your mental health will suffer. The concrete foundation of your house will be cracked before you even put your shoes on.
And this philosophy actually leads directly to a practical exercise for you, our listener.
Yes, it does.
It is an exercise designed to improve both your mental foundation and your English skills at the exact same time. It's called the 10-minute challenge.
It is a simple challenge, but it requires discipline. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, do not touch your phone.
Leave it alone.
Leave it entirely alone for the first 10 minutes you are awake.
Instead of looking at a screen, simply observe your physical reality. Notice the feeling of your blankets. Notice the temperature of the crisp air or the stale air, depending on your room.
Right.
Listen to the sounds outside your window.
But here is the English learning mechanism. During those 10 quiet, phone-free minutes, your job is to silently formulate 3 simple sentences in your head.
Okay.
Just 3 sentences about what you are physically experiencing,
Yeah.
using the present simple tense.
So you might think to yourself, I stretch my arms, or the floor is cold, or I hear a bird outside.
That is all it takes. The goal here is not to speak like William Shakespeare. You don't need complex, complicated poetry.
Right.
The mechanism that builds fluency is consistency. It is the habit of showing up, paying attention to your life, and assigning English words to your immediate reality every single morning.
It brings everything full circle. We started today talking about how building a strong house requires an invisible, solid foundation.
Yeah, we saw how understanding chronotypes, whether you are an early bird or a night owl, helps you understand your own rhythm. We watched how the present simple tense acts as the steady heartbeat of the English language.
We felt the sensory details, the sudden explosion when an alarm goes off, the thick mud of feeling groggy.
The physical crunch of the daily grind. The clean snap of crisp air.
And we saw how protecting your mind with a morning digital detox allows you the quiet space to actually practice those words.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to turn over in your mind.
Okay, let's hear it.
We established that the present simple tense is the primary tool we use to describe our repeated habits. It describes the reality of our lives. So take a close look at the verbs you actually live out every morning. What does the rhythm of your verbs say about the life you are building?
That is the ultimate question.
Are your daily verbs mostly scrolling, rushing, and worrying? Or are they stretching, breathing, and observing?
Changing your verbs might just change your entire foundation.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope that slowing down our pace helped you catch every nuance and detail. Keep observing your mornings, keep protecting your mental space, and most importantly, keep practicing your English. See you next time.